What's good? You already know what it is. No tag, no thumbnails. Boxing talk for only the real subs. That's right. We don't tag these videos. These are impromptu. When I come to the gym, we go live. We talk a little bit about boxing as people trade collect. We can talk about it. I saw a hot topic today that I really don't want to get on. So I will say this briefly. Terrence Crawford is suing Bob Arum. I believe it's for $10 million. And he says that Bob Arum is racist. Now, only thing I'm going to say about this is I don't know Bob Arum personally. Never been around him. Never had a conversation with him. And I don't know Terrence Crawford personally. Never been around him. Never had a conversation with him. But all I can say is this. It's going to be hard to prove in court if Bob Arum, what he says is true, that he's lost over $20 million trying to get Terrence Crawford fights. I'm not going to get into the details because my channel's not about that, but I know it's a hot topic, so if anybody comes asking, talking about it, it's already been addressed, and it really won't be addressed. All I'm going to say is, when somebody takes a loss of $20 million on you, it's a hard case to prove. But we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what's released. Could Arum turn out to be racist? It's possible. Could he turn out not to be racist? That's possible as well. On that note, let's get into the next set. This is actually my third set, and I forgot my close hand handles at the house, and I do not feel like going back and getting them. So we're going to be a set short of what we normally do. Well, not a set short, but an exercise short. So 3 sets short. All right, let's adjust this, because you know, we max out machines. One thing different about me than other people, I do a warm-up set in between every exercise, because I go heavy, so I don't get as many reps. Thus, I use the warm-up sets in between each new exercise to be my warm-ups. To be my reps. Warm-up sets always consist of 12 reps. Doesn't matter what I'm working out, whether it's back, shoulders, legs, arms, chest. Every new exercise gets a new warm-up. Just gives me extra reps. Other news, besides what I just talked about that I said I was going to talk off for the playback, is Dillian Whyte. So Eddie Hearn said there's a lot of legal stuff going on in the background, and they're not going to accept the 80-20. But he also said at the same time, that if it goes to purse splits, then they're going to go on with the fight. So being that they're going to go on with the fight, that means Tyson Fury no longer has an act. He cannot get out of the fight. He has to fight him or vacate. Being that they said even if it remains 80-20, they're going to go forward. So there's that. I don't know what Tyson Fury is going to do. I don't really think he wants to fight him. I've been saying it for a long time. People call Luis Ortiz the boogeyman. But to me, the boogeyman is the guy that nobody wants to fight. And it honestly, I don't know what type of text messages I'm getting. It honestly seems like Dillian Whyte is the one that nobody wants to fight. Every time they get the WBC title, they stay clear of him. I don't really like that cats sitting. So, I think somebody
Somebody tightened this too much. The lever wasn't working. But we got it a little bit up. Ooh. Yeah, that feels better now that it's sitting on my chest. All right.
So I'm really curious to see if come Tuesday of next week, that's when the first fit ends, if Fury's still going to get out of the fight. What's going on? How you doing? Let me see what you wrote. Frank Sanchez versus Filip Hrgović. So I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know why anybody's scared of Hrgović, because he looked horrible in his last fight. He looked horrible. Horrible. I think all the top guys beat him. Unless he comes back in fully conditioned like he used to be, I don't see Hrgović beating any guy at the top. In fact, to go towards that comment, I think Charles Martin would have knocked out the Hrgović that showed up to his last fight. The same Charles Martin that just got knocked out by Luis Ortiz. That's how bad he looked to me. He looked super slow, out of shape. He just looked, conditioning-wise, the worst I've ever seen him. And I don't think that Temper Hrgović is going to really be good. I would prefer to see Alan Babic fighting. Alan Babic's been calling out Hrgović for a very long time. He's saying that it'd be the biggest fight in Croatia, in the history of Croatia. Babic's words. And I mean, that fight would also be far worse. But I do agree that there will be some bombs thrown if Hrgović does fight Sanchez. I just think at this point, Sanchez beats him. I really do. Unless he comes in full condition. If he comes in full condition, then I give him all the chances in the world. But if he looks the same, I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. That's the type of fight that I don't know if he can win. All right, let's do this set. And then I'll see what you said to respond to what I said. Whew. Yeah, I'm gonna max this machine. I gotta go heavier. It's not heavy enough. That's why I don't like cable machines, plated machines, or really not plated, weight stacked. I get too strong too fast. And I'll grow them. But did you like Hrgović? Okay, let's see. As I was about to ask you, did you like Hrgovic's last performance? Let me see what you say here. Can you imagine a future fight between Jarrell Miller versus Makhmudov? Here's the thing about Big Baby. Here's the thing about Big Baby. I think he's a good fighter. However, I don't know two things. One, if when he gets his license back, he'll come to the ring clean. So the fight may never happen. Two, I don't know how he will perform off the juice. Now, if he still comes in 320 pounds and never gets tired, then Miller's going to be a hard man to beat by anybody, even by Tyson Fury. Because Miller's whole strategy was just to put a high guard, walk forward through you, and then beat you down against the ropes as he uses big frame to push you back. So I mean, I agree. That fight would be fireworks as long as we can get the old vintage Jared Miller back. Now, if Jared Miller comes to the ring 260, 250 pounds, we know the juice kept the weight on him. And if he can't throw as many shots, we know the juice gave him his endurance. Really, it wouldn't be juice, it'd be other stuff. Steroids doesn't really build your endurance. But I want to see how he looks coming back, but I do agree. Assuming that he's the same fighter that he was when he left, that would be a fight right there. That would be a great fight. Because, I mean, people don't understand. Gerald Miller, he was actually built to be the next United States champion. He was supposed to fight AJ. He would have beat AJ on that night, the Ruiz fight. He really would have beat AJ. Like, I had no doubts in my mind that Miller would have shown up, AJ would have lost, but he did what he did, got suspended, came back, did what he did again, got suspended again, 2 times in a row. But Miller was supposed to be our next heavyweight champion, so I wouldn't think he'll still be the same, but I do not know. I like him because he's from New York, and it feels kind of funny. I felt that. That actually felt kind of heavy. I felt that. Woo. I gotta start trimming down. Gotta trim down, get my weight down so I can get more cut up. I finally ate my way to where I wanted to be. And now I'm backing off. And the main thing is cardio. Cardio. Hitting sprints, plyometrics, best thing to shed fat and get lean and cut. I'm going on a side topic because you didn't really respond to what I was saying. I don't even know if you can hear me walking away from the mic, but I'm just happy that I'm finally injury-free. Well, kind of, sort of. But for the most part, injury-free to where I can actually put this weight on. Took me a long time to get back up to 232. Well, really, I got up to 236. But I gotta drop this weight down to about 215. I say 210, 215, but I'll have to see what I look like at 220. But ideally, that's where I want to be. Let's see what you wrote. So I think that's a really good fight. That's a really good fight. That is a really good fight. Daniel Dubois versus the real big baby, Jared Anderson. That's a really good fight because it does 2 things. One, it's not going to be a fight tailor-made for Triple D. 2, on paper, it'll be Jared Anderson's hardest fight. Now, we saw what happened when Triple D moved up in competition against Joe Joyce. He ended up giving up. So he got his eye hurt and gave up. And that was the first time he was actually in a real fight where a guy was there to win and not to lay down. But Jared Anderson, on the other hand, he hasn't really fought anybody either. So Daniel Dubois, although I say guys he has fought were tailor-made for him, I still think he has the deeper, I don't want to say resume because both their resumes are iffy, but I think he's got the deeper pedigree. And in that fight, I would favor Jared Anderson from how he looks. However, I would not be surprised if Triple D can knock him out. Because I've seen Anderson rocked by guys who hit nowhere as hard as Triple D. Now, the one thing about Triple D, regardless of his hardness, he's got a lot of power. And even though he gave up in that fight against Joyce, it took him a long time to give up. It wasn't like he gave up in round 1 or 2. He almost went the whole stretch of the fight before he quit. So he may not have the best of heart, but at least he has heart to deep waters into the fight. So I think it would be a great fight. It'd be a good test to see which one is really belonging on a world level. Because honestly, I think Joe Joyce is a world level fighter. If he's not a world level, he's borderline. And I think Triple D, and Anderson, they're both domestic fighters. I have Anderson, a domestic U.S. fighter, Triple D, a domestic UK fighter. And I think whoever wins that fight would prove themselves to be better than domestic. So I like that fight a lot. That's a really good fight. Caballero. I don't think Joseph Parker would go for that. I think Parker at this point is only looking for title contention. He looked really good. You got to admit, the bigger Joseph Parker under Andy Lee, whenever he came to that rematch with Chisora, he looked really good. Like, they made a night and day improvement on him because I thought Parker lost the first fight with Chisora. I know he lost that first fight against Chisora. And the improvements that he made going into that second fight and his power and everything, Joseph Parker may have revitalized his career. Like, he's looking very rejuvenated, and it's just looking real good what's going on in his training camp based off his last fight. Now, if he can continue that momentum, I think it'll be well, because whenever he fought Junior Fa, he looked horrible. When he fought Parker, we're talking about Parker. When he fought Chisora the first time, he looked horrible. But this last fight, the second fight with Andy Lee, he looked really good. Really good. Like, the Parker I saw against Chisora is a threat to all the guys up there. I think Parker would want to be aiming for people like Joe Joyce or Dillian White, a rematch with him. I don't think he'd go for anybody underneath that level. I could even see him fighting Ortiz, because Ortiz win over Martin, or Pulev. But I just can't see him going lower in class than those types of guys. Let's see. Yeah, now that would be fireworks for real. I don't think it would be a long fight. I think that fight ends within 6 rounds, maybe 5 rounds. That would just be a very entertaining fight to watch. Like, neither guy would be in a contention for a title shot after that fight, but it would be one of the most fan-friendly fights you could ever watch. Like, if you have a friend who only likes UFC or doesn't like fighting in general, that's the type of fight you have them watch. And they will be entertained. They will want to see more matches if you get those two in the ring. Usyk versus Ortiz. Well, Ortiz isn't in line. Ortiz, he's got to wait. Because if you go over on AJ's side, which is Usyk's side, the first person in line, I believe, is Joe Joyce for a title shot. And that's contingent on Undisputed not happening. So really, truthfully, what it should look like is it would be Usyk or AJ versus Fury or White. And then the winner of that should fight Joe Joyce. I believe Joe Joyce is like the #1 mandatory. Like, he's got seniority over everybody. So I'm pretty sure that will be the next fight for Usyk. But assuming Usyk beats AJ, I think Usyk just blows through Ortiz. I don't think Ortiz can beat him. I think that's going to be another fighter that, because Usyk's such a good boxer and Ortiz is already on the shorter side, they're going to be around the same height. Like, I think Usyk beats him. I think he dances around and gets him tired and knocks him out around the 8th or 9th round. I think, yeah, probably the 9th round. I say around the 9th round, Ortiz would go to sleep in that fight. But it would be a good fight. It would be a chess match for the first 2 to 3 rounds. And then after that, I think Usyk just completely takes over. I think the threat of Ortiz at his age, because really he's like 58 years old, I just don't think he has any longevity in the fight with the type of pressure that Usyk puts on fighters. All right, here we go again. Whew. 1, 2. And we'll do this. We're going to do this just so you can see, and anybody else on the playback, that we do the whole thing. We don't do less than the whole thing. There's not a stack in any gym that I can't do the whole thing. Now, this is where I wish I had my double D handle whenever I sit on the floor and do this next exercise. I want to say this goes over here. Okay, that's a good warm up. Got any other things you want to see? A heel? I've never seen him fight. I can't remember ever seeing a heel fight. I know who he is, but I don't believe. Maybe I have. I watch a lot of fights, and I forget a lot of fights because I see so many. But off the top of my mind, I can't remember seeing him fight. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I would have to look him up real fast to see his face because his face isn't coming to my mind. I know the name, but I can't remember a fight that I've seen him fight. So it would be hard for me to gauge that because I really don't remember any fight by him. I really wish I had my double D so I could do my lat pulls. Whew. Shit heavy. Supposedly, and I don't believe it, that this pulley system is a 2-to-1 ratio, which means it's double. But I don't believe it is. Like it's heavy, but it doesn't feel like 400 plus pounds. I really hate this angle for this. Half of that pull feels like forearms. Okay, let's see. What did you write? Oh, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. I think Sanchez loses. I think Sanchez is a very good technical boxer, but he suffers from what a lot of Cuban fighters suffer from. And they always wait for you to get off. And in that matchup, I think his lack of aggression is going to cause him to lose round after round after round after round. He doesn't throw enough shots to be able to fight. I think he gets outworked because he's just too inactive. I see him landing some good counter shots because they'll be there for him to land. But I don't think Sanchez has like devastating knockout power. I think he hits hard. He's got a decent punch, but he's not doing like what Deontay Wilder did against the type of level of fighters he's fighting. So, and we've already seen Sanchez dropped as well. Because let's not forget, Ajagba dropped him. The referee just didn't count it. But Ajagba definitely dropped Sanchez to the canvas. So he can be hurt. And his lack of aggression could play against him. So I think he loses that fight. Whereas I was telling people I thought he was going to beat Ajagba. Because Ajagba suffers from the same thing. Ajagba is too methodical in his attack. It's good to be methodical, but you can't be too methodical. You can't be too slow to do what you're doing. You got to know when to up the tempo. Let's see what you wrote. Okay, that's what I'm responding to right now. But yeah, like I said, I think Sanchez isn't active enough in the ring. And he would just be overwhelmed. Could definitely see him get overwhelmed. Whew. But I'll tell you what I am curious about, speaking about heavyweights. I'm going to watch this Ngannou fight against Gane. I never watched UFC, but I'm going to watch this fight and see what happens. Because from what I have seen, I don't think Ngannou stands a chance against Tyson Fury in a boxing ring, even if they are in MMA gloves. First off, I don't even know if they can get that sanctioned. But even if they could, I don't know. I think that might hurt him more. I think Ngannou may be better off in boxing gloves. Because the thing about it is, and I said the same thing about McGregor when he wanted to have smaller gloves against Mayweather. Smaller gloves are only going to be beneficial to the guy who's landing more shots. If you were counting on a one-punch knockout, and that's why you're going for smaller gloves, likelihoods are you're going to end up getting knocked out. You don't want to decrease the size of gloves if you're going to be the guy getting hit more. Because now you're taking a guy who possibly may not hit that hard and increasing his power every single shot by making his gloves smaller. So to me, it's actually a handicap. It's way more beneficial for the more experienced fighter, whether he can hit as hard as you or not. Because at the end of the day, it's about landing shots. And accumulation will get you out of there. A chisel can take down a mountain. Let's see here. Where did I see Ali fight? I swear I just saw him. Oh, I did just see him fight. I did a video about him. Turkey. Fuck. Who did he just fight? Who did he just beat? He just won. Oh my goodness. I can't remember who he just beat, and I literally did a video on it. I literally just watched the fight. Oh my goodness. He's got one loss, if I remember correctly. I'm remembering he was like, man, now I want to look back. Oh my goodness. I hate this. Like, I hate that I'm drawing a blank on him. I remember I just watched him fight. Who did he fight? I don't even remember the fight, and I just watched it. Gerald Washington, that's right. He stopped Gerald Washington. Yep, there it is. I couldn't remember. He stopped him. It was like the 7th time that Gerald Washington's been stopped, or like the 5th time in 7 fights. Goodness, I'm happy you're here. Because for the life of me, I could not remember who he fought. And I know I had just watched him. How do I feel about him? That was the first time I ever saw him fight, too, against Washington. And we know Washington is a B-level fighter at best at this point, maybe a C-level fighter. I think he needs to work on being more in shape. I think he looks good. He's an Olympian, a gold medalist. Didn't he win the gold? If he didn't win, I know he's a medalist, but I believe he won the gold. But, my thing is this. You don't have to look aesthetically good. You don't need to look like a statue. You don't need to look like a Greek god. But you got to be in shape. And I didn't really like how his fitness looked in that fight. Although he stopped Washington was getting off good shots. And it's another thing, just like I said about Hrgovic, like he looked very sluggish in that fight to me. I mean, he ended up wearing down Washington, but he was very sluggish, especially early on. So, the more I think about it, fighters today at the heavyweight division, they just don't look like guys of the past. They don't look the same. They really don't. Okay, I can feel that. And that's crazy that for the life of me, I could not remember who he fought whenever I did a damn video on it. I did one of my update videos on it. That's crazy. I'm going senile. I'm not even old yet and I'm going senile. That's crazy. So I'm telling you, like, I have seen so many damn matches and watch them so much that I forget a lot of these fights. Like, I legitimately, some of these guys, if I look them up, see their face, it'll come back. 2020. But if I don't see what they look like and their name doesn't stand out right off the bat, it's like 60-60. It's like I got blinders on my eyes. I can't, it's not vivid at all. You think the heavyweights today are better than when Klitschko was fighting? I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. I mean, think about this. Think about this, okay? I want you to really think about this. Klitschko beat Povetkin. Povetkin had AJ on wobbly legs and I believe broke his nose. He also one-shotted Dillian White. Both of those are top-tier heavyweights today. Pulev, although he got knocked out by AJ, has remained at the top all the way through. Old. Povetkin, old. Pulev, old. Luis Ortiz, old. You got a lot of old men today that are still competing with the young guys. Whereas in the era of Klitschko, you didn't see 40-year-olds fighting. You didn't see 40-year-olds being able to get in there with these guys. They were retired by then. I mean, you've had pre-Klitschko, you had some exceptions. But overall, you didn't see guys this old fighting during the era of Klitschko. And then if Samuel Peters was fighting today, could these guys really handle his power? Could they stop him? I don't know. I really do not know. If Lennox Lewis was boxing today, because he was in the era of Klitschko, towards when they first really started to peak, Vitaly fought him. We all know Vitaly was going to beat him, but they did that BS stoppage over a cut when they could have let the fight go one more round and it would have went to points.
I don't know. I really, the more I think about it, like Klitschko era gets a bad rap because they cleared out the division. They beat everybody. Nobody can hang with them. They literally beat everybody. And when Vitaly retired, Vladimir kept going on, beating everybody. So I don't know. I mean, even think about it, like Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola just gave Andy Ruiz a run for his money. That's from the era of Klitschko. So, I mean, people say that, but then when you actually look at the old-ass fighters who are still fighting, competing with these young guys who are supposed to be the top of the totem pole, they don't really look that good against the old versions of these guys from the Klitschko era. I mean, I can only imagine if a freaking 28, 29-year-old Povetkin would have got in there with AJ, with Dillian White. Hell, a 29-year-old, 28-year-old Chris Arreola would have knocked out Andy Ruiz. He floored him how many times? Twice? I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that statement. I just think Klitschko's were so dominant that people just don't like them. They ran the era, and because of that, they call it boring. I don't know if AJ could survive back then. I don't know if Usyk could even be a world champion against some of the fighters in Klitschko's era. I don't know. I mean, Shannon the Cannon Briggs? If Shannon Briggs was still around, oh, fuck no, I'm sorry. Shannon Briggs would knock out Deontay Wilder. He would have knocked out Anthony Joshua. Like, we're not even talking about a fight that would be competitive. And Shannon Briggs lost to Klitschko. So, well, I say Klitschko as if it's one person, it's two of them, brothers. But I don't know. I really do not know. What's going on, regulator? Oh, my back. Oh, popping my back. Woo! Oh, but yeah. I think their era gets a bad rap just because, like I said, them two dudes were so damn dominant. And nobody liked them because they wouldn't fight each other, which makes no sense. The Charlos don't fight each other. They went to different weight classes so they wouldn't have to fight each other. But yeah, that was okay. At heavyweight, there's nowhere else for you to go. You can't go up and weight. But because there was never undisputed in their era, they say, oh, it's boring. No. Just Vlad was just off in these dudes. I want to talk about a different weight class. Let's go, since I mentioned Charlo. Let's get off heavyweights for a moment. Let's go to junior middleweight or super welterweight, whatever you want to call it. Tim Tszyu. I think Tim Tszyu is going to be the next champion. I don't think anybody can beat Tim Tszyu. How do you feel about Tim Tszyu? You like him? Think he's good, bad? Think he can beat Charlo? I think Tim Tszyu just runs through them all. I don't think anybody can hold a candle to him. Okay, last one, then we go to the card. Woo. We are done. Okay, let me wipe this stuff down. Gonna do abs at the house. Got a little roller wheel. Hey, regulator, did you see my MMA video? I made it for you. All right. Woo. Let's get out of here. Let's walk to the car. Let's walk to the car. Let's walk to the car. That's funny. You said right before I came here. So what you think about the video? Do you agree? Do you agree with what I was saying? It's going to be a big fight. I just want you to know I was trolling so hard in that video. Because if I'm going to do MMA, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to just find ways to make troll videos about it. But at the same time, it's still kind of accurate. Biggest breakdown yet. There it is. There it is. Oh, man. I don't even know what made me want to do it. I was just bored. And you know what? It's late. I haven't put nothing up. Let's do an MMA video. Regulators been sending me these damn fights. Let me tell you something. That Derek Lewis Gane fight was the most boring fight I have ever watched in my life. I was so bored. Oh my goodness, I was so bored. Then Lewis's mean of attack was I throw once, turn around and run with my hands over my head like a child getting beat by his mom with a belt or a wooden spoon or a shoe. That's what he looked like. He literally looked like somebody's mom was beating him with a wooden spoon. And he was just running away with his hands on top of his head till he couldn't take no more. And I'm like, dang, shall we do it? Shall we fight? And then Gane is so boring. That dude just stands still in front of you, does nothing. I don't know who's going to win because I haven't seen enough of Ngannou other than you showing me him knock out Overeem. But Overeem looked like he was like deprived of all his steroids and had shrunk in about 50 pounds. So I don't know how legitimate that win is over Overeem, considering that you could tell he was off the juice. Like, that wasn't the same Overeem that fought Lesnar. That Overeem was like 300 pounds in the ring. The Overeem that fought Ngannou looked like he was about 255 at the biggest. Somewhere, I would imagine that he weighed in around 250, 255. He said, I like Gane, but a lot of people think Gane is boring. Yeah, the only thing about Gane is, who's taller? Is Ngannou or Gane taller? That's all I need to know. Who is taller? If Ngannou is taller than Gane, I think he can get him out of there. But if Gane has got the reach, then it may be a hard night for Ngannou. Okay, well, yeah. If Overeem, why did I say Overeem? If Ngannou goes in there and becomes aggressive early, I think he could get him out of there because Gane looks like he starts extremely slow. That's how you beat him. You just go in there and you rock him early and don't stop. He looks like, it's weird because he's not really a back foot fighter, but he fights like a back foot fighter. He stands in front of you, waits for you to attack, to counterpunch you, but he doesn't fucking move. He doesn't move. He just stands still in front of you and waits for you to attack and then counters. So, I mean,
if you got height on him and power on him, that's a very easy guy to beat. A guy who just stands in front of you to counterpunch you. Like, no, you need some type of body movement to get off these counter shots. But I need Ngannou to hit him hard, almost knock him out, then tap himself out. Like, prove that he could beat him and then just give up and quit and say, F you, Dana, I'm going to fight Tyson Fury. That's what we need. Because we don't need Ngannou getting that damn title and then being stuck to the UFC because he's their champion, so he has to fight again. We need him to prove that he can win, but then just give up. That's the ultimate FU. And remember, I do cocaine. I do cocaine. I do cocaine. Jake Paul said, and you once paid a fighter $12,000. I do cocaine. Like, I cannot believe a UFC fighter made $12,000. $12,000. You got to understand, when you think of the UFC, some people don't even know what's MMA. Some people think all MMA is UFC. That's how big UFC is in MMA. That is like the major leagues, okay? Imagine if an MLB player only made $12,000. That's ridiculous. That is beyond ridiculous. Like, there's dudes who are less than journeymen that make more than that, just going in there paying to lose against some boxers. I train UFC, bro. Got my Affliction shirt. Oh, I remember Affliction. Oh, I hated them shirts. When them tight-ass shirts came out, every motherfucker that wore them thought they fought in the UFC. They'd be the lamest dude. They put on an Affliction shirt, now they're a fighter. Yo, I know them shirts got so many people beat up in the club. Like, you can't tell me they didn't. Like, come on, dude. You're not a fighter. You're just wearing the apparel. Calm down. Calm down. That was like the Brock Lesnar days. Oh, man. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Whew. You do realize, though, if I do this UFC, if I ever do UFC, live commentary is going to be hilarious because I am just going to troll. DayZ stories, yes. So, 2 days ago on DayZ, my guy was sick, like he always is. I was hanging out in the hospital, right? Some dude shot me. I don't know where he came from, if he logged in. I don't know where the hell he came from. He shot me with a pistol. I ran off. He was like, I'm friendly. Like, I'm going to stop running. You just shot me. I'm friendly. So I ran away from him, got inside the hospital, was hiding out in a room, bandaging. He opens up the door, talking about I'm friendly, so I let into him. Unfortunately, he got off 2 shots on me as well. So we both died. So I respawn. I immediately go to a little town, get some food that I know is enough food, and then I just book it straight to where I died, right? Now, you know, DayZ, it takes forever to get to places. So, like, you're looking at a 20, 30-minute run. I get there. I'm back where I died. I go to open up a door, and some asshole who must have heard the gunshots and saw us kill each other puts a damn landmine right there at the door. So whenever I open up the door, boom, my screen goes black. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Did I just die? Did I just die? Did I just spend 20 to 30 minutes running back to get my body to die? Fortunately, I woke up. However, I had a broken leg. Now, what I did not know is if you get a broken leg, you cannot stand up or your guy continually passes out. So I had to crawl, and it took forever to crawl. Not only did I have to crawl, but I had to like jump up and close doors without passing out because there were zombies all around. I did that. Got to my body, got to the other guy's body. Somebody, whoever dropped the landmine, had looted both of us, but I still had enough stuff. The only thing I was mad about was I lost my NBC boots and pants. Other than that, I'm good. I've got everything that I lost besides my NBC gear. And you need that to go into the new radiation zones, right? So I was mad. However, I got 2 new gear of NBC that I didn't have before. So I've got a mask now and some gloves. So I lost the boots and pants, but I gained, a cap and gloves, which you need as well. You need all of it to be able to go in there. So anyways, there's that. So then I have to go look on the forum, see what the fuck do I have to do not to pass out. You got to make a tourniquet. So now I have to crawl out of this hospital. And when you crawl, it's super slow. I've got to crawl out of this hospital, crawl to the closest bushes I can find, and pray that a zombie doesn't see me and eat me while I'm passing out. I get over there. I do that. I get the stuff, crawl back to the hospital. It takes like a good 7 minutes to crawl from the bush to the hospital, from the hospital to that bush. Make my splint, get up, and now my guy's still alive. So I'm outside of a town right now. I saw a nuclear bomb go off. I didn't know they dropped nuclear bombs. So I guess they randomly fall like the helicopters used to crash. I heard a big boom. And hold on one second. Okay. So I heard a big boom, and there was a bunch of radiation going off. Couldn't go over there because I don't have NBC gear. Went over there after radiation cleared out, and somebody had looted it before I could get there, and I have no idea what they got because they said the best loot is inside the nuclear zones. So they beat me to it. That's pretty much where I'm at on day Z. But I've got a bag full of food. I've got more weapons than I know what to do with. I can't even carry all of them. I got one weapon in my hand just so I can shoot it, and when it runs out, I'm done with it. But I got my Mosin, which is the best sniper rifle in the game. I just don't have a scope for it. Then I got another rifle that's called a Sporter. That's just little 22 rounds, but it's got like the best scope in the game you can put on it, so I can zoom really far in. Now, it takes a whole bunch of shots to kill people with 22s. However, if you can headshot them, then it only takes like 2. But like I said, I'm very good at sniping people, so if I can see them from a distance, they die. Only when you don't stream is when good. Yeah, I know it is. I've met a couple of people after I died while I was running back to my body. I met this one little kid that I was going to kill, but then he started talking, and I realized he was a little kid. But then he was like kind of slowing me down, so I ditched him. But we looted like 2 towns together. Buddy was following me. I killed some goats for him, got him some meat, got him some water. And I tried to tell him, like, yo, I'm sick. If you come near me, you're going to get sick. And he was like, I'm already sick. But he had a different type of sickness. He had the sickness that only you can get from eating human flesh. He was a cannibal. And I did not know in this game that if you become a cannibal, your dude just randomly laughs. So his character would be looking at me and just laughing crazy laughing at me. So, and then he made some weird comment, and that's really when I ditched him. So we was on our way to the hospital where, later on I died at after I logged back in. And he was like, my guy, don't be scared. He's just a cannibal. That's why he's laughing. He's sick. It would be funny if he ate you, though. I said, what? What did you say? He's like, nothing. I was like, nah, this motherfucker trying to eat me. So I dipped into like a camping lodge, and then I logged out. I'm like, I ain't going to kill the kid because he's a little kid. But at the same time, I know if I don't kill him, He gonna eat me. So I had to get out of there. And that's when I logged back in, went into the hospital, got shot, ran out, came back in, shot the dude. Then he got off 2 shots on me. We both died. Then I ran back and got blown up at the door. That's my DayZ story. And then I haven't really been playing for the last 2 days. But yeah, so you're all caught up. That's the adventures. I need to start like a series, like DayZ, Day 1, DayZ, Day 2, something like that. I mean, realistically, if I think about it, I'm probably only on like day 3.5, maybe 4. Oh man, it's gonna be ugly. If I do live commentary on UFC, I'm gonna be creating moves. Like I don't know what they're called, so I'm just gonna make up my own name for them. I'm telling you, like it's gonna be legit. I'm calling it whatever comes to my mind. Like whatever they do, I'm gonna create a name for it because I don't know what the hell it's called. But on that note, I'm about to get off, go inside, take a shower, finish back day. Didn't really have a lot of people in the chat, but you know how we do this. No tags, no thumbnails, impromptu working out. Hey, Nunes lost. I heard she got her ass whooped. Like I heard she got beat. It wasn't even close. I know that humbled her. She thought she was the baddest woman alive. And then the girl that beat her, I saw interviews of her talking, and she's been saying for years she would beat her. Like, she's been calling Nunes out for years, and Nunes never wanted to smoke, and then she had to fight her, and she got whooped. Yeah, but she was getting beat up before that. And the girl that beat her up, you already know how I am. You already know who I go for. I go for the girl that is prettier, and we all know the girl that beat her is a lot prettier, so I was happy. I was like, yeah, the right girl won this one. I'm very easy. When it comes to female fighters, I'm very easy. You already know who my pick is. And I only do that, I only pick that way because I feel like in combat, people don't want the pretty girl to win. I feel like when it comes to combat sports, pretty girls are looked down upon and they're looked at like they can't do anything. So I love it when they prove the odds wrong. So that's why I always go for the pretty girl, because the pretty girl is always the underdog in every single fight. And I like seeing the underdog win. Hell, if you look at it right now, I'm going for the biggest underdog right now in all of boxing, Dillian White. I've been saying for years he'll knock out Tyson Fury. For years. I like underdogs. But yeah, on that note, we're going to stop here. I will tell you this. I made a big mistake, a fatal error. I drank some orange juice with creatine in it before I worked out, and this got my stomach feeling all types of bad. Don't do that. Nope. Got to do creatine in the morning, not before a workout. But anyways, have a good one, my dude. I'm out.